Chapter 17. The New Meaning of Good Business. The statement is frequently made that it is good business to pursue such and such a course. In other words, that it is profitable in a financial way. And in the minds of many, anything is good business that is profitable financially. But the psychology of industrial life is proving conclusively that the man who is looking for financial profit must not look for financial profit alone. To achieve a real and lasting success, the man of business must seek not only to build profit, but he must also seek to build himself. If his business has only financial profit in view, the time will come when the business will be larger than the man. And it is the man who is smaller than his business that cannot stand prosperity. Success will turn his head, and he will do something to spoil everything. He will thereby lose what he has gained, and being a small man, he is very liable to go all to pieces when adversity comes. The large man, however, will not be disturbed by misfortune. He will begin again. He will turn his past experience into capital and will rise higher in the scale of achievement than ever before. But he will not lose his bearings when the greater success arrives. He will grow with the growth of his business and will fully enjoy every step of the way. A careful study of the industrial world proves conclusively that the majority of the failures in business life are due to the fact that the businessman does not, as a rule, aim to grow with his business. When his sole aim is profit, his business will grow for a while, but he will not. Sooner or later, he will find himself too small for the further promotion of the enterprise. And when this stage is reached, he will either lose his hold upon his business or lose his head. In either case, things will begin to go wrong, and failure will follow. The idea that business is business, regardless of its nature, and that anything is good business that promotes the growth of the business itself, will cause the businessman to give his whole attention to methods for producing profit. He will ignore the principles of character and the laws of the mind, and will in consequence deteriorate as a man. His real ability will weaken, and his future success, if he has any, will not be the result of business ability, but will be the result of shrewdness. Real ability creates, while shrewdness simply appropriates what others may have created. This, however, is not success, and no man who has respect for his own life and regard for his future will ever consider such a method for a moment. The man who tries to promote his business through questionable methods is harming himself. He is violating the laws of his own mind and is therefore retarding the growth of his own mind. But no person can afford to retard his own growth because future success, as well as happiness, depends directly upon the growth of the mind, soul, and character. If we wish to live a more successful life, a larger life, a worthier life, and a happier life in the days to come, we must continue to promote our own growth and personal advancement now. To picture the next 10, 20, 50, 75, or even 100 years as a period of steady advancement in everything that is worthy, rich, beautiful, and ideal is to look forward to a life that is certainly worth living, and such a prospect for the future will naturally fill a person's mind with unbounded gratitude to think that he is alive. But such a future cannot be realized unless a full and constant development of mind, character, and soul is promoted now. To build for greater things in any part of his life, man must constantly build himself. Therefore, he cannot afford to let anything, not even present financial profit, retard his own growth. And financial profit secured through questionable means will retard his growth. In fact, the more profit he secures of this sort, the smaller he himself becomes as a man. There are only two ways through which financial profit can be gained. The one is through business ability practically applied, and the other is through any one or more of the legitimate methods that are more or less in evidence in the business world. If you have no business ability of your own, you cannot create success. Therefore, when a man who has no business ability succeeds, we know that he has appropriated the success that others have created. And the mere consciousness of such a fact will cause the mind of the individual who is guilty to dwarf and deteriorate. The man who succeeds by appropriating the success of others has been told any number of times by moralists that he is harming his fellow men. But that argument does not impress itself very deeply on his mind because his answer is that others have the same privilege to do what he is doing. According to his logic, there is no wrong in using any method whatever in building up his business so long as others are free to use the same method in building up their business. And with this argument, he appears to make a strong case. In fact, he has convinced many of the best minds that business simply is business, that it has laws of its own, laws which have only one object in view, which is to build business, and that whatever is conducive to the building up of business is good and legitimate in business. There is, however, another side to this argument, and that side deals with the man behind the business. The man behind the business is the cause. The business itself is the effect. Therefore, what is bad for the man is bad in the long run for his business, and what is good for the man is good for his business. When he does something that decreases his ability and power, his business will soon feel the effect and will begin to go down. But when he does something to increase his ability and power and continues in this course, his business will steadily grow until his success may become remarkable. This fact is self-evident. We conclude, therefore, that the man who would win success that really is his own success must aim to build up his mind while he is building up his business. And the building of these two can go together if his business methods are based upon principle, justice, and character. But if he is using questionable methods, his business will be an obstacle to the growth of his mind. And the reason why is simple. The mind cannot develop unless it is wholesome and works steadily along constructive lines. But no mind can be wholesome nor constructive in its actions that is engaged in an illegitimate enterprise. The mind cannot be straight so long as its work is crooked, and it is only the straight mind that can develop in ability and power, for it is only such a mind that can be in harmony with the laws of growth, development, and advancement. To promote its own development, the mind must be true to itself and just to its own laws. But no mind can be true to itself that is untrue to others. The mind that deals falsely with persons and things is dealing falsely with itself, and the mind that is dealing falsely with itself cannot develop itself. On the contrary, it is gradually destroying itself, and even a casual observation of things and persons about us will prove that this is the truth. But there is another fact in this connection that is of equal importance. The man who depends upon his own ability to win success is using his own ability. And the more we use the ability we possess, the more powerful and highly developed will that ability become. On the other hand, the man who depends upon shrewdness, speculation, games of chance, and the like is not using his business ability. In consequence, that ability will not develop, but will instead decrease in effectiveness and power. His abilities, talents, and powers are not called into play. Instead, they are relegated more and more to the rear, and the man, in consequence, becomes less and less of a man. His success, if he has any, is not his own success. It was created by others, and justly belongs to the original creators. The secret of greater and greater success is found in the development of greater and greater ability. And to promote this development, it is necessary to use the whole mind constructively and to make the fullest possible use of the ability we already possess. No destructive process, therefore, must exist in the mind, and no false action whatever must be permitted. The mind must be clean, wholesome, orderly, constructive, and aspiring, and every action must aim to build the man while on its way to the building of things. The man who would develop his ability must be true to himself and true to others. He must act upon principle and must desire the possession of that only that he is creating. He must employ only orderly, constructive, and scientific methods, because shady methods produce a shady mind, and such a mind will fail. It is therefore evident that no person can afford to establish his business upon any other foundation than that of principle, manhood, and character. And it is also evident that the only business that is good business is that business which tends to build the man while the man is building the business.